Be racing on the cart path for today's race. What's up, race fam? Today is the final day of the Snowcrown race series, and as you might expect, I'm excited. Look at this. The sun is out, the sun is shining. It's gonna be 43 degrees at race time. That's unbelievable. So they had to call an audible. We're gonna be racing on the cart path for today's race. It's gonna be a great after party. There's gonna be prizes, and I am channeling myself a big victory in the raffle. Anyway, let's go race that bike. So much fun! This is gonna be great. How is it with you? Alright, race fam, let's get this race started. This is the last of 4 bike races in the Snowcrown series, and unfortunately, as you can tell from the video, we did not get very much snow leading into this race, which sort of stinks, but it ended up actually being a quite challenging, interesting, fun race. So the race itself, the goal here was to stay on the cart path, and 98% of the time that happened. So the interesting part of this race is that, the cart path is really straightforward, but every once in a while there was a couple of these turns that were really, really technical and got your attention, because where there was ice, it happened to just kind of be on those turns or on this big uphill that's coming up shortly. So we're just going to whip through some of this footage to get you to the interesting parts, because the most interesting part of the story today is not the race. It's what happened after the race, so make sure you stick around to that. And I also just want to say thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, do all those things. And I especially would like your comments on what we're going to do with the prize that I took home at the end of this video. So make sure you watch that, and I'd love to get some community input as to how to make this thing amazing that fell into my lap. So, all right, this first part of the race, I had a really bad start because I lined up super late. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did not get to the start line at a reasonable time. So I started way on the back foot in terms of starting position, so that was already off to a bad start. And while everything seems like it's still sort of bunched up here, the distance between where I'm at right now and the top 5 riders is immense. And I actually found that out later as I was trying to track somebody down. Every time I got on this hill, I feel like I'd be impossibly close to this person, but I just couldn't close it down. This hill is so much steeper. I mean, the video does a decent job of making this thing look steep, but it's steep. And it with the ice on there, and I'm studded, but even with the ice, it was definitely tricky. There was a few lines you could get to that were a lot less ice, and we had a lot less ice throughout the course of the race. So starting temperature was like 43. We're racing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it definitely warmed up, but all these are in the trees and the shadows, so it didn't make a huge difference, but it definitely we had a little more grip later on. So this is lap 1 again. We're just going to buzz through some quicker elements here on lap 1 so we can get through it. This hill was it's just brutal. We did it last year too. It's just brutal. It just absolutely wears you out. And then there's, you think that's it for hills, but there's actually 2 other ones here that are almost as bad as that one, although much shorter. But that one isn't really that bad at all until right at the end. It's those last 30 yards that are like, oh, it's absolutely horrible. So that last turn there that I that I missed commenting on was the trickiest turn of the day for me. I just could not figure that turn out to save my life. It's a little bit off camber. There's a little bit of snow in the corner. I could not figure out a reasonably fast way through there. So here again, first lap, I'm gonna make up some ground. I'm feeling good. The macro stuff, I'm gonna do a whole video on the macro stuff, but definitely have lost weight. So I'm sitting around 170 going into this race day, which for me is incredibly good. But still some room to work there, but that's okay. So I'm pulling people back in here, but I think I may have overextended myself because some of these folks I'm gonna catch, they're later gonna get their spot back, and that's a little disturbing to me. Unfortunate. This turn kicked my butt too. Couldn't figure out a fast way through here. You can see this is just flat awful, just awful. And then to get momentum going again after I scrubbed all my speed, brutal. Okay, now we're gonna speed up here to get to the next turn. That's tricky. This thing is yeah, that guy, I think that team Collective, I think they're called, they were at Fat Bike Worlds, and like, that guy went by me. I'm like, oh, for sure I'll get him again. No, I never did get him again. He's gone. So this turn was super tricky. This was just straight ice. Studs, not a huge help. I did find the inside line that I took there is definitely the faster line, but I still struggled with that one all day. And I saw a couple people go through there and they were able to actually carry speed. I was not one of those people. So anyway, now we're basically back onto kart racing for the second half of this course. And if you carry your speed right through some of these first couple hills on this side, you could get through them pretty quickly. But this last one absolutely destroyed me every time. So we did 5 laps in the elite category, and this guy's gonna go by me again here, right? Yep. But man, I struggled with this finishing straight hill. This hill right here just absolutely wrecked me. So between these two hills, they were kind of, thankfully, spaced far enough apart where you didn't have to battle both those in a row, but it was just enough to get your attention. So we're going to run through here, and I'm going to show you what happens here in the second lap is the only sort of meaningful event that took place in the race. Other than that, I ended up finishing 12th and was happy with my effort. Like, I felt like I had the hammer down the whole time. Was pretty pinned. Didn't feel like I got mentally lazy. I just wasn't going as fast as I would like. I think maybe you can relate to that, right? so all right. I'm going to get up here. I didn't slip. I made it through this stuff, but somebody else is going to cause me some grief shortly. Yeah, this is the clip. Okay. And we're going, and wait! Whoa! So
that could have gone better.
Yeah, that sucked. That really threw me off because it was so steep you couldn't just remount the bike. And I was just sort of angry at that moment, so I didn't feel like running and trying to make up for the race. I was just like, whatever, it is what it is. So I finally do remount and get going again, but this lap, you can see my lap times if no one's going to look. But anyway, I looked, and my lap times were about 30 seconds slower on this lap than all the other ones, and that's about what this took me to get back and recovered. So, okay, no big deal. But that was pretty much the story of the race. After that happened, I struggled to think that I could put myself in a position to place well, so I just put together the rest of the race as well as I could. George is going to pass me up on the hill here. I'm going to catch George again, and then eventually I'm going to drop George, so I can feel good about whooping George, but that's about all I got to take away from this race is whooping George. So thanks, George, for being my bright spot in the day. So George carries this turn pretty well. See, this fat bike trick to get your center of gravity up on near the stem to whip that back wheel around. It's really an important skill, and I feel like I kind of figured it out this year. I wasn't doing it on that turn, but I did figure it out this year at some other races, so hugely effective. Actually, Fat Bike World's probably the best example of that, where they had a long downhill off-camber, and performing that little maneuver was a great way to get through there really quickly. So I go by George here and offer him my wheel, and I think he was just hurting, and I went by a little, we were together for a minute, but I had dreams of working with George for the rest of the race, but it just didn't work out, so it's okay. Now, let's see. Oh, I'm going to smash this. Here's where I guess I'm just going to rub George's face in this for a minute. So, I should probably cut this clip shorter, but yeah, it's okay. All right, race fam. I'm going to give you a couple thoughts about this coming season. So after I'm done fat bike racing, I'm going to take a few weeks off. No races on the calendar. I'm going to get back into doing a bunch of Zone 2 work and really focus on getting my base built up. I've been doing my weightlifting with Coach Zach again this year, and we've made a few tweaks to the routine, which have been really good. And I feel like the strength is coming a long way. And I think a lot of that strength coming a long ways has a lot to do with the amount of protein I'm taking in because of the macros. So my ability to do push-ups is significantly better than it was last year, and the only real change is ingesting way more protein than I did before. I was vegetarian for a year last year, and I've sort of put that on hold for a while because I just need to eat so much protein that I've turned to chicken to get that done. So I've been eating a ton of chicken and doing meal prep, and that's been really helpful to hit the macros, hit the calories, and again, the weight loss has been really good. So feeling good about all that stuff, and really looking forward to having 5, 6, 7 pounds less going into the road season. So yep, that hill's still hard. Let's check if this hill's still hard. Is this one still hard? I think these are my laps. I'm just polishing up the race here. And then we're going to get into the after party, because the after party portion of this video is where it gets interesting. So I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. I'm super excited about the bicycle that has fallen into my lap. I have some plans for my old bike, so just stay tuned to this video and you're going to see what happened. All right, race fam, done racing. Post-ride report. That was hard. Doesn't seem like it should be hard, but it was hard. It was fun, but mostly hard. It was like the concrete stuff was great. It was just like there were 10% of that course that you needed studs, but you really needed them for that 10%. So, and then there was like 2 or 3 turns I just could not figure out to save my life. So slowed me down. And I got taken out on the hill by somebody else, and that just took a long time to recover from. I really wanted to hunt that guy down, but just couldn't get him. Good, kudos to him. He was racing hard. Just didn't have it today. All right, race fam, I'm just going to walk you through this because this is the most interesting thing that has happened to me all season. So here we have our, that was the daily winners. This was the U.S. Fat Bike Open, in case you're curious. If you get a chance to come next year, I'm sure this race will be happening with snow. It's super fun. Great after party. The Green Bay Country Club does an amazing job. And then Broken Spoke, who puts on this series, did an incredible job of putting out tons and tons of prizes for series riders. And this bike and a set of wheels were the main grand prizes. So there was tons of numbers being called. That's a $3,000 set of wheels going off, and then the $3,000 bicycle as well. So just a great vibe. Everyone just having such a good time. Fat biking is such a fun community. Everybody just gets along great. It's an absolute blast. If you have fat biking anywhere near you, I encourage you to take advantage of it. If you don't, come on up and visit us next year. So Snowcrown series, check out the website, Google it, you'll find it. And these guys have done an incredible job growing the sport and growing this series in the last few years. So this went on for about 45 minutes of just giving away numbers, and I had my number, let's see, where did it go? This is my number 7 in there, and it did not get called.
I'm still in there. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Wheels,
this
bike,
was awesome.
fork.
Thanks for having a good night. I'm just kidding.
So there's that line where you're like, well, I'm still in there, that's good, but I kind of would have been happy to walk away with a pair of gloves instead of nothing. But.
Ross,
all right, Ross got the wheels. I was actually a little bit bummed because those wheels are 197 spacing, and I would have probably bought a bike to match those wheels, but I was not bummed for long. All right, watch this. This is great. There's all those numbers. There's a lot of numbers in that. And David's going to mess with her just enough. Like, you know, it's like butterfly effect. How many of these things affected this number getting called correctly? Who knows? All right, there it is. She pulls it, and I see it first, and then I turn into a high school girl.
Brian!
Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Broken Spoke. This This is awesome. I'm so excited about this bike. So, again, let me know in the comments, how should I build it up? What parts? What do you guys think? I'm going to put those parts on my old bike. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with my old bike, but we'll do something soon. That's cool.
Crap.
I can't win a race, but I can win a raffle. How about that?
I'm the luckiest person I ever met. I swear to God.